Hey folks, today is Friday, July 24th, 2020. As usual, it's me, Jake Baldino, here to talk about all the video game news that has been going on this week. Let's get you guys caught up. There's a lot going on, and the next-gen stuff is definitely heating up because, of course, yesterday we had Microsoft's event focusing on games for their next generation and the Xbox Series X. And the event has definitely proved divisive, as everything in video games is now. Some people are not happy, some people are. Personally, I just saw a little one too many CGI pre-rendered trailers and not actual gameplay, but the gameplay we got to see was, of course, from one of the big ones, Halo Infinite. It looks like both a return to form for the Halo franchise, back to the old days of Combat Evolved, but also kind of trying new things like an open world. And still, we have so many questions and not a lot of answers. We also have some people seriously questioning the graphics. Aaron Greenberg did come out from Xbox and said that it's a work in progress still. To which that I say, and to quote my friend SkillUp, like, the game's out soon. How work in progress is that? Whether you're excited for it or not, we also got a confirmation of a new Forza mainline game, which is kind of obligatory with a console generation, as well as, finally, official confirmation of Fable. I'm so excited, so happy, even though they showed us nothing. The original Fable, of course, being one of my favorite games of all time. Yes, I know it has problems. I don't care. I love it. It's nostalgia. I'm just happy that it exists, baby. I think that's really good. But running down some things, I think the whole thing is worth watching because we got new looks at some games previously announced, specifically the horror game, The Medium. I think we got to see more here, and it looks pretty damn interesting, and I'm super into it. We also got the announcement of the next Obsidian game they're making specifically for Xbox. It's called Avowed, and it's going to be a first-person RPG in a fantasy setting. So Obsidian is now tackling, they tackled the Fallout vibe, now they're tackling an Elder Scrolls vibe. But I'm curious to see how they can make a new and exciting world, because I'm always down for that. Of course, we don't have time to run down every single announcement. There is a lot still worth looking into. I will link in the description below a breakdown video we did yesterday and some other information if you guys are looking for it. But Microsoft is talking a big game with this. Satya Nadella, the head of Microsoft, has said that the Xbox Series X is launching with the biggest launch lineup for a console ever, which I'm sure there's going to be some caveats to that. It's not just like they have a billion exclusives that they're putting out there, because obviously not. A lot of people would assume that he is referring to both like all the backwards compatible stuff, the Game Pass library stuff that is available, and the new games launching. So it's kind of, again, Microsoft's whole ecosystem platform building thing that they're trying, which I think makes it very interesting. While PlayStation is probably going to have some kick-ass exclusive games, Microsoft is doing the platforming thing. I like different approaches. For me, I win because I just play all the video games. Which, interestingly enough, since we are talking about both, I do want to highlight a quote from last week that is worth pointing out in terms of Sony's approach, which is markedly different from Xbox's, about how they're handling PlayStation 5 exclusives and how they can't take the previous generations with them, so to speak. Marketing head Eric Lempel went on a DualSense reveal live stream thing with Jeff Keighley that we did highlight last week, but this quote he said is interesting. We didn't really dive in. A big pillar of our company is innovation. We're always trying to push the boundaries of play. We want to excite gamers and deliver new experiences, and in many cases, we can't take everyone with us from previous consoles because you need new hardware and devices. So like I said, strikingly different approach. The two companies are very different with how they're looking towards the future. But again, to reiterate, I think it keeps things interesting for us as consumers. Super hot take, I know. It'll still piss people off. Something that I did want to point out, IGN got the exclusive, but apparently it leaked early. We got like a good long look at Mafia gameplay, the remake of the original Mafia 1, which was a kick-ass game, and a lot of people are looking forward to it. What we got to see is some brief cutscenes, quick open world bits, and like kind of like a full walkthrough, a mission, a shootout at night, and it does look pretty cool. I just still can't tell if it really holds on to the flavor of the original. Some people are pointing out that this still holds too many similarities to Mafia 3, which a lot of people didn't like. Me, I'm just really hoping that the vibe is there, the story is there. Like, can they nail that feeling again? I don't know, but I've said this before in the past, but like, we don't have a lot of games where you're a trench coat Tommy gun guy, so I'm happy that we're getting one. And we've just talked about Mafia here a lot on this channel and my other channel, so I figured it was worth pointing out. I know there's a lot of Mafia fans out there that are hoping for the best. I'm curious to hear what do you guys think, though, after watching the gameplay. Let me know. Now, next up, this episode is brought to you by you fine people out there. Thank you for watching. Thank you for putting up with our sponsors and stuff like that and supporting the show. Do really appreciate it, and thanks for just watching every week. I like to always just kind of put that out there. Thank you. Also, in breaking news, this just happened on social media. G4 is coming back. We got like a teaser video from the G4 social media accounts, as well as all the other shows like X-Play, Attack of the Show. Remember those? This video teased that G4 is returning in 2021. That's all we know. As of right now, this video, we don't know anything. I've talked about G4 here on the show before. I'm sure for a lot of you guys out there too. Extremely influential kind of television channel and variety of shows that covered tech and video games. And now here we are today. Honestly, if G4 comes back, gameranx is canceled. I mean, what do we do? Now, in other news, a Nintendo Direct, which always sets the internet on fire. This one kind of didn't. It was very much a low-key Nintendo Direct where we only got a couple of little things. I'll link it all in the description below. The big things for me really is a content update for Cadence of Hyrule, a new game called Rogue Company, which is kind of in early stages but looks interesting. Some people have been touching that. And for our JRPG fans out there, the big thing is that we're getting an HD remake of Shin Megami Tensei 3. But not only that, we're getting Shin Megami Tensei 5, which sounds to me like I need to finally actually start playing these games. I was late to the Persona train, and now I'm very late to this one. Still, small Nintendo Direct. A lot of people are bubbling about it. Some people are thinking that Nintendo's big games are kind of slowing down to a trickle. I see this as maybe kind of a little bit of a coronavirus thing, people working from home, maybe not too many games down the pipeline. I don't know. I'm curious to hear what you guys think. But now we're going to move on to some trailers, some stuff I wanted to highlight this week for you guys in case you missed it. Just two smaller, interesting things. We don't highlight enough smaller games here. The first is a trailer for Griefhelm, which this game is straight up, to me, it looks like the Nidhogg gameplay, that 2-on-2 sword weaponry fighting on a 2D plane, really corny and old school, but with like a realistic medieval action-adventure setting slapped onto it, and that sounds really reductive, but I think this looks really exciting. That is very, very much my type of game. And if we're on the topic of my type of game, Jet Set Radio, yeah, we're kind of getting another one. This is Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, and it is essentially like a spiritual successor to it. It has some people working on it from the original games, and like, holy hell, this looks incredible. If you love those games growing up like I did, this looks pretty exciting. This came out of left field for me, but I really hope it's good and it really captures that vibe. Also, here's a launch trailer for Carry On. That's that game where you play as the infected virus monster thing. That's finally out. I'm looking forward to playing that this weekend. Now, in other news, a bit of a follow-up to a story we talked about a week or two ago where the newest NBA 2K game announced it was going to be $10 higher for next generation, kind of culminating with everybody believing that next generation game prices are going to rise to $70 in the US compared to $60 as the base price. Well, now, thanks to a Ubisoft Earnings call, we're hearing things a little bit differently. Ubisoft, of course, for the past couple of weeks has been undergoing some turmoil and some cleaning out of some management and systemic issues seemingly within it. There are much smarter and more competent people than me in the video game news industry covering that very well, but it seems like Ubisoft is going to be undergoing some substantial shifts that may reflect to us, the people that play the games, but they did go on record saying that their next-gen games that have been announced so far are still going to be $60, which some people will still argue that that's still too high, but at the very least, at least they're not raising to $70. At least not yet. I think Ubisoft will absolutely jump on the opportunity to get more money when they can, when the time is right. But for now, that's where it's at. And in other news, Rocket League is going free to play, which sounds like not a big deal, but I very much think it is. Rocket League is an absolutely downright incredible game that I love to watch. I'm not good at it at all, but I think this is going to be great for making it even bigger of a thing in terms of both a video game that anyone can jump in and play and becoming a spectator sport. It's like one of the few esport things I actually enjoy besides fighting games. It is moving to the Epic Game Store for that, but if you already own it on Steam, you're still going to be able to have all that. Like, essentially, you're protected. And in some sweet news that is basically maybe only for me and a couple people out there, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is a thing. We know that the movie is getting a sequel, but now we have a release date. We have something to look forward to in this hellish nightmare. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is coming to theaters, apparently, April 8th, 2022. That's still a ways off, but I do think it is funny that we're getting an announcement of this, considering a lot of people, the last movie they may have seen in a movie theater was the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, which is crazy to think about it, you know, the state that we're in. Like I've been saying, though, hope you guys are all still well and safe out there. That's it for me. We got to get back to work over here making more videos. So let's talk about everything going on this week. What do you think about the Xbox event? I'm sure the comments are going to be rational and not heated at all. What do you think about PlayStation's approach to exclusives? Basically, let's talk about PlayStation. Let's talk about Xbox. Let's go nuts down there. Let's also talk about everything else, what you're looking forward to playing next week. What do you think about some of the trailers I linked, like Griefhelm? I think that's cool. Let's talk about any of the news that we talked about here down in the comments. But like I always say, things get a little crazy down there. So if you want to yell at me directly, find me on Twitter and Instagram at Jake Baldino, or on my other YouTube channel, Jake Baldino. That's what the channel's called, I guess. It's not really a channel then. Thank you guys for coming around every week and kind of getting filled in, getting informed over here about everything going on. Clicking the like button does help, for real. Thank you. Subscribing also is a really good idea because we put out videos every single day. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching. I'm Jake Baldino. Pizza's on me.